Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. I feel like this is like the most normal I've felt while recording for a very long time. I have like a normal amount of energy. And yeah, it's like Monday afternoon. Maybe that's the reason I feel normal about it, is this is like my usual recording time, which is Monday afternoon. Yeah, hope everyone's doing well and enjoying fall if you live in the northern hemisphere. It's like still hot here, but it's not quite as hot. And like days when it is really hot, I think people are like surprised that it's so hot now. Yeah, we had a period where it was like 55 degrees every morning, and that was amazing. And then that has gone away. Now it's like in the 60s in the mornings, which is fine. But you know, we'll get there. We will get there eventually. So yeah. Again, I don't have too much to share today because I've been pretty good at keeping up with my once a week recording. So you know what? I'm not mad about that. I would rather do this more regularly and make it shorter. I think it's just like helps me to have kind of a more regular schedule. So yeah. So I feel like right now I'm very high functioning and I'm in a kind of like maintaining state where I'm like, okay, I've put enough wheels in motion where I can just kind of like cook now. Like, you know, you put enough energy into something and then it just kind of carries on by itself for a while, you know, one of those situations. So I think I'm kind of in that like cycle of like, okay, I'm sleeping enough. I'm probably fueling well, like, which means I'm eating enough. You know, I seem to be on a pretty decent schedule. I get my stuff done, you know, at work and everything. And so I'm just kind of like, that allows me to kind of run on my regular schedules, knit when I'm resting, that kind of thing. So yeah, I had a, how long did I run on Saturday? Like 16-mile run on Saturday morning. So I've noticed that, that when I go on a run that's really long like that, it does help me a lot to actually rest for the rest of the day, which is annoying sometimes because it feels sort of boring. I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm just gonna sit around my house and like watch TV and make food. Like I try not to leave at all if I can avoid it, or I just go to like a friend's house to just like chill and like watch movies and stuff. Yeah, I really, like I did a really good job on Saturday, which meant that I had a lot of time to knit and spin. So that was great, because I just like made myself like a list of all the things I wanted to work on, and I actually worked on almost all of them. So that was good. It felt very productive. So I was glad to have that time and like, you know, the accountability to knit and spin. So that was good. So yeah, I think, yeah, I think I'm kind of maintaining right now, which is, I'm happy about that. So we'll see. And that includes like working on the knitting projects I want to work on. I'm not just like kind of like avoiding things. Probably because I don't have that many things that I'm trying to like work through. Like my Fair Isle project is kind of just this like big thing, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do that. Like, this is the thing we're doing. And I seem to have like been able to kind of, you know, hold myself to it enough that, I still have a few other things kind of going on, you know, irons in the fire, but they're not like as feet to the flames as the Fair Isle. So I'm sort of prioritizing that, which is great. So I will show you that first. Here it is. Yeah. Getting there. So the first sleeve is finally done, and I've started the second. So this is the first sleeve, and I finished 3 whole bands out of 10 on the second one, which feels very good. Look at that. That's great. I'm excited about that. So on the first sleeve, I didn't weave in any ends. And I'm gonna pull this out. I tried to put this on, and I would put this on for you to show you, except the ends inside this sleeve are so thick that I can't, like, it doesn't feel like it fits properly. I'm like, oh no, like I gotta trim those. I need to weave them in, and they need to go, because it's like it's just like, it's compressing the sleeve, like it's making it smaller so it feels like it doesn't fit. And I'm like, I know this fits. Like, just, I'm not crazy. Like, I took my gauge swatch very seriously here. This is ridiculous, but yeah, it's just this. And somebody actually asked me, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I had blocked the body of this, and somebody asked me how I do that when the sweater's not all the way done. The answer for the Fair Isle sweaters is that I just block, completely soak, wet block, whatever is done so far. So in this sweater's case, it was, I grafted everything together. Like after I needle felted all the steeks, I grafted the shoulders together. And then I think I wove in the ends on the body. Maybe I did that after I blocked it, but I can't remember. But regardless, I just wet blocked it and let it dry. And that was great. It worked. So yeah, so this I feel like was a huge mistake. I will be saving this for hanging out with my friend who I had a knit day with last weekend, who said we should save all our stupid menial tasks for when we hang out and knit together. And she actually texted me the other day. I thanked her for making me some pesto, and she said, when do you want to do another knit night? I got stuff to do. And I was like, oh, good question. Like, and so I decided, I was like, I almost thought, okay, I really need to finish this sweater this week so that I have like a ton of ends to weave in. But then I was like, we can do it anytime. I'll just do this sleeve, because I've decided to weave in ends as I go on this sleeve, although I have a little bit to do here. So because I was working on this last night, I didn't, and I had to go to bed. I didn't finish. I didn't weave in the ends, but so I've been just going like one band at a time. As I finish it, I weave in the ends, and it feels better because this just feels like tighter and neater than it does if there's like loose ends just kind of hanging out in there. So that's helpful. And I did a pretty good job. I don't think I picked up the same number of stitches for each sleeve. I didn't. Like, I'm the kind of like imprecise knitter that doesn't care, because I know that I won't be able to tell at the end of the day. But I am making sure that after the like first two bands, I have the same number. So I think the first sleeve had more stitches, because I don't think I've had to do as many decreases on the second sleeve, but I'm like, whatever. It'll all come out in the wash, especially if the decreases are right at the beginning for that first sleeve. So I'm feeling good about this. I think it looks awesome. I'm super happy with it. Again, I'm gonna be hard pressed to not just like immediately cast on another Fair Isle like vest or something. And Monica texted me the other day and was like, oh, this Fair Isle cardigan is everything, because she knitted, actually that was the sweater that she was steeking in the like video I took of her steeking that I put in Tiny Desk Knitting like a year and a half ago. That was the sweater she was talking about, was the Fair Isle cardigan that she knitted a couple of years ago. And she's like, this is everything I need to knit more Fair Isle. And I was like, don't tempt me. Like, I already am so obsessed, and it's hard for me to not do it all the time. But I probably will make myself like a hat or something. Something, a small project I can finish in a weekend, and not like a cowl that will take me 6 months, even though I think it will take me a week. So yeah, enjoy that content of me complaining, probably inevitably soon, that I was supposed to not knit Fair Isle, and now I'm burnt out from it, even though I started a new project. So yeah, again, I am weaving in the ends as I go on that to prove to myself that it sucks a lot less when you do that, as just like a reminder for the future. So that's fun. Yeah, so I would love to know what you're knitting, if you're knitting like a big sweater for the fall. I want to know all about it. What pattern are you knitting? I need some inspiration. I need to knit. I think I'll probably go for a cable pattern after this. I will probably also knit a vanilla sweater this winter, as I showed you that Le Petit Lambs wool that I got last week. I think I will be doing something like that too. I'm drinking a watermelon flavored Noon tablet today. It's a lot. It's a very big flavor. And I find that Noon, if you've been watching me all summer, you've heard me talk about this before, but Noon is this like, it's like a tablet that you put in your water, and it's like a hydration. It's like electrolytes. This one has caffeine and it's Coca-Cola flavored, which is delicious. Well, Kona-Cola. This one is so good. The caffeinated ones have like, how much caffeine? 40 milligrams of caffeine or something? It should say so. Yeah, 40 milligrams of caffeine per tab. I don't drink the caffeinated ones after 11 a.m. but they have a lot of flavors. But the watermelon one is not a caffeinated flavor, but actually, because I'm an endurance athlete and I sweat a lot, these only have 300 milligrams of sodium, which might sound like a lot to you. But I have to add salt to these. Like I have a bag of salt. Actually, it's salt, magnesium, and potassium powders. But it's mostly salt. And that is, yeah, I legitimately like, I put salt in my water because I sweat so much. So we're getting to the season when I'm not going to have to add salt to my Nuun probably. But yeah, on days when I, like don't have enough sodium, especially on Saturday, I went running, with my friend Angelo for like 16 miles. And, I don't think I had enough sodium. I had one bottle that had Tailwind in it and one bottle that had like Gatorade and Scratch in it, which are all products that you put in water, that like are supposed to enhance your performance while you're exercising. You've probably heard of Gatorade, for instance. I just put like a combination of flavors in my bottles to mix it up. Although Angelo and I were both so thirsty at the end and I had so much flavor fatigue from the like, leftover like water that was still in my bottles that we actually stopped at CVS to get water, because we were so thirsty and we were like legitimately like a mile and a half away from being done with this run. And I was like, Angelo, I can't do it anymore. We stopped at CVS. I don't think I had enough electrolytes in my bottles. I should have brought like Salt Stick Fast Chew tabs or something, because you need to take in a lot of electrolytes while you're running because you sweat. And so I don't think I did an effective job with that. And I had a headache for the rest of the day, even after I took Tylenol. So if you're an athlete, you have to be careful and have enough sodium. I also probably didn't have enough sodium the night before. That's also really helpful. It's called hyperhydration. If you drink like one of these, like, 1,000 milligrams of sodium in your drink or something the night before. But you have to water it down a lot because that's real salty. Anyway, enough about me drinking my salt. So I ended up casting on a new sweater last week. Even though I told you I've been like maintaining, I'm in like my maintenance state, I did cast on a new sweater. I've been making really good progress also on my unseen shawl, which is now downstairs, and I'm working on it like, every morning I knit on it for like half an hour. I get a few rows done. Excuse me. And I am making progress. I'm like seeing progress on that, and I feel really good about that. Excuse me. So that's like, I'm like maintaining the progress on the two things that I'm trying to get done basically. And I think that I'm able to do this because I sort of focus on that shawl at the, like early in the morning. Like before I even go for a run, I knit on the shawl, and then in the evenings I will come back and I'll knit on my Fair Isle. But I also cast on a new sweater, because, can I move to show you that neon green Archie there? 1, 2, 3 skeins in there. It's just like, I couldn't resist it any longer. It was just too green. And I was like, I gotta get my hands in Archie. I need to rediscover that joy. So I cast on a sweater. Oh my gosh, it's so green. It might even get blown out on the camera. It's so green. Oh. I showed this to Monica and she was like, that was not the green I expected when you said neon. And I was like, I know it's not as yellow. I think the bluer neon green is better for my like coloring and my blue eyes. So I like it this way. I put in like a little bit of like the turquoise dye powder in there to blue it up a little bit. But I'm knitting the pattern called Fiola by Isabel Kramer, which I will link in the show notes. I think I talked about this pattern before. It's just like a crew neck-ish kind of sweater with this little detail at the neck that's lace. That's it. This is the only little part of it's hard to see it because it's not blocked, but I will try to expand this so you can see this little lace detail on the neck. It's super cute. Just this little... Okay, it's going to be hard to show you that, but you get the sense. But then there's a lace panel that goes all the way down both sleeves, which is more easy to see. And I like this so much, I'm going to put it on a sock. It's actually making me like kind of motivated to knit another pair of socks. And I don't know if I would do like a panel down the side. I love the idea of a little side panel down the sock. I do really like those because I find it really, it makes it go fast because a lot of the sock is vanilla knitting, but it's like, it's interesting enough. Sorry, I can't think apparently after a long day at work, but it's interesting like enough that you are like, your brain is working a little bit every row. But I think if I did a panel, it would be really similar to my Kitty Bennett socks because it's essentially the same thing. It's just with one extra yarn over. I might just do it like 3 of them in a row or something on the front of the sock. It's how many stitches wide? 11 stitches wide. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, that would be perfect for like a medium sized sock. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, it would be perfect because then I would have a knit stitch on either end because you'd incorporate. Sorry, I'm doing sock math. This is the only math I'm good at. I'm also good at counting time in music. I'm good at that math too. But yeah, so I think I can do this and it will be pretty. And I have the skein of Rambler that I unwrapped for my September socks. So this would be nice. It would look like leaves. Actually, that's perfect. Can release them next fall when I finally get around to doing that. We'll see. Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. I need to get back in the sock mentality, but when I do, I will knit this in a sock and I will enjoy it. So, yeah. I'm cooking on this. I'm not to the armhole split yet, but I'm getting close. This is one of the Isabel Kramer types of patterns that's like, so you do this. I've done this before on the Aldous sweater, which I've knitted 2 or 3 of, and I will probably knit another one. I love them. They fit me really well. I've knitted 3, yeah, because I have 2 and I knitted Ivy one, and I might knit another one. Anyway, it has this feature where you first do increases on, like double increases on the front and back of the body. So really quickly you do this, which is, you can see, it's hard to see it, like this is the front, but you do these increases right here and you don't do any sleeve increases. So you do the like body increases for like 2 or 3 inches there, and then you stop and you just you start these fake seams that are made with purl stitches down this way, and you do sleeve increases for the next like 30 rows or what rounds. And then now I'm on the body and sleeve increases. So at the end of the yoke, you increase on both do a few more body increases and also continue to increase on the sleeves. So that's where I am now. So I'm close to splitting, which will be exciting. So then it will be totally vanilla on the body. I think there might be some fake purl seams down the sides if I feel like doing those. I usually do. I like that little detail. It feels classy. And the Aldous sweater also has a seam going down the back. I think, and then the sleeves will be not vanilla because they have this little lace pattern, but this was very easy to memorize. Again, I will put the pattern for this, the link to the pattern in the show notes. It's spelled Fjolla, like Fiola. Yeah, I like it. It's great. I'm really enjoying knitting this pattern. So it's a little complicated if you're like just getting into sweater knitting. I would recommend starting with the Woolly Thistle's vanilla sweater. The Woolly Thistle is great. They're an online retailer in New Hampshire. I'm an affiliate, so I always talk about them because if you shop with them using my affiliate link, which is up there somewhere, I get a small kickback at no extra cost to you. So please consider shopping with the Woolly Thistle. And they have a vanilla sweater, which is like a plain raglan crew neck sweater. It has really nice details. It has like a little split hem and like 3/4 length sleeves, but it's super easy to customize however you want it. And it's just like really nice. Corrine did such a good job designing that sweater. So, and you can get a kit for it with Rama Fennel yarn, or you can just get the pattern and use whatever yarn you want if you prefer to use different yarn, especially from there. Like I've used Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight, which is most of what's up here. Some of this is Jameson's of Shetland. And then like over there on the farthest one there is jumper weight Supreme mostly, because it's the neutral colors that are undyed, which is a little thicker, but that's also a great option for the vanilla sweater. You could even use sock yarn if you want to. You could use Rambler. Rambler is great. That's the Woolly Thistle's house sock yarn. But anyway, I always put in a plug for them because they're great. And that, like, if you want to get the yarn that I used for my Fair Isle sweater, that was Jameson's and Jameson and Smith. Combination of those two yarns, it's just like half and half. You can get both of them at the Woolly Thistle. So you can shop there for all your Fair Isle needs, but also just like woolly wool in general. Unfortunately, you can't get this at the Woolly Thistle because this I processed and spun myself. If you are new or you didn't watch my episodes in like May and June and July, Archie, I just like mentioned Archie casually and like did not explain that. I realized Archie is a sheep, and my friend Molly and I get his fleece every year. Well, we have for 2 years now, and I just assume we're gonna get it every year because we love Archie and his farmer, whose name is Amy, I think. In my mind, her name is Kim, because in my head she looks like a person who would be named Kim. I've talked about this before, how at my park run, I keep thinking that people are named things that they aren't named. Like this guy named Bob, and I thought his name was Phil for like a year, even though I'd never asked him his name. I just like assumed his name was Phil because to me he looked like someone who would be named Phil. But this is why I keep thinking that Amy's name is Kim, because to me she just looks like a Kim. So anyway, excuse me, there's so much dust and pollen and stuff in the air. I switched to Zyrtec last week because they didn't have Loratadine, which is Claritin, at Costco, but they had Allertec, which is Zyrtec, and it was like hardly any more expensive than the Claritin, which is if you buy a year's supply of Claritin pills at Costco, I mean, it's Costco brand, Loratadine, it's $9.99 in the US. Zyrtec, I thought would, like, I mean, my friend Lauren always tells me you can get Zyrtec at Costco, and she's like, I get Zyrtec at Costco, but I just had never seen it there. And finally, I saw it, and I needed to get allergy meds because my year's supply had run out. Excuse me. So I got Zyrtec, and it was only like $11.99, and I was like, wow. Excuse me. Whew. It's like, you know, anyway, I just got the Zyrtec. This is like truly like I'll go downstairs in my house and I'll sneeze like 5 times. Just like whatever. There's dust or something in there in the air. I don't know. But anyway, Archie. Back to Archie. I took Archie as a dirty fleece and washed him in batches, mostly in Vermont. With unicorn scour and dish soap and whatever I had. I used a lot of Dawn dish soap. When I was in Vermont, I used Dawn dish soap because I forgot my unicorn scour. Unicorn scour works really well. That actually got Archie's fleece way whiter than the Dawn dish soap did. Anyway, and then I combed it with my Viking combs. So one of them is mounted, and then you comb. Made nestlets. Spun them all up, dyed them neon green after I spun them. It was not economical. I tell a lot of people this who like my like friends at church or like running friends or whatever. They're like, why do you do that? And I'm like, because it's fun. I do not do this to save money. It takes so much time. I am not saving any money. I'm just having a good time, and I feel like it's just something that I want to do. I'm curious about how you get from a fleece that you, sheared off of a sheep, shore. I don't know what the verb there is. A fleece that you got from directly off of the sheep, and how does that become a sweater? So I wanted to do as many steps of that process as I could, and I think that's cool. So I haven't learned how to shear yet, but that's in one of my 10-year plans. We'll see. We'll see which one gets realized. It'll probably be one I haven't planned for because that's just how life works, but that's okay. I'm pretty good with the flow. So, yeah. I'm excited about my neon sweater. I'm excited about my Fair Isle. I'm excited about a lot of my knitting right. This feels very fresh. It feels fun. It's almost spooky season. It is spooky season. So this is my spooky season neon green sweater. I love it. So I'll be working on this. Probably get a little bit of knitting on this done tonight. But a lot of this is just for like time when I can't be thinking too hard, like the Fair Isle. You gotta pay attention, you gotta be looking, you gotta be counting, making sure you know where your decreases are. This is a little bit chiller, especially because I have the sleeve pattern memorized, and pretty soon it's gonna be basically fully vanilla. So that's awesome. And I'm happy with this. I immediately last week put it into this V&A bag that I have with a William Morris print. And I don't know where the heck this was, but I know I pulled it out. Oh, I think it was down on the first floor of my house where it's very musty and we need to get a dehumidifier down there. And I think it was down there, and I had just like found it a couple weeks ago and just shoved it in my like IKEA bag of tote bags under my desk. And I got to school and I was like, well, what smells so freaking musty? And it was this bag. It smelled like mildew. It was really nasty. So, but I washed it in the washing machine this weekend with my like towels and stuff, and now it doesn't smell. It just doesn't smell like anything because I use Tide Free and Clear because my allergies are that bad that I can't even use regular Tide. I probably could, I'd be fine, but I don't like to risk it. So, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about like small projects I can kind of get into this fall and winter. I don't want to make anyone a sweater for Christmas. I'm just like, well, except for the one I'm making for my grandpa. I did do some work on that on Saturday because I had so much downtime. So I'm almost to the first decrease, but I do think I'm going to run out of the oatmeal color and maybe one of the driftwood skeins. However, Webb's actually has both of those colors in stock, and they only have like 6 or 7 total colors in stock of that yarn. So I feel like it's like fate, and I just have to get it. I just have to order a couple of skeins to finish that sweater, and it will be done for Christmas for my grandfather. But yeah, but my spinning has been good. I think I showed this last week. This is the Targeese. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was still plying it. But this is 2 skeins of Target plied together. I think I showed one of them, and the other one was still being plied. But I did this fully on Felicity because my friend Sarah still has my power cord for my e-spinner, but that's fine. I have lots of other things to spin. I'm not worried. I actually spun on Monica's wheel, the wheel that Monica's dad made. Or I didn't spin on it, but I plied on it, and it worked great. So that was fun. But I've been spinning on Felicity. I had an interesting time this week attempting to spin some fractal skeins using pieces of different colored yarns. That did not go well. Fractal spins like that, especially with 3-ply, I think they only work if you use dyed braids, which means like, something like this. Like you could totally get a cool effect with 3-plies if you use like, even if it's 3 different colors of these, it will look cool. But if you use pieces of yarn that are like, or of fiber that are all dyed like solid colors, I don't think that works because you get, especially with 3-plies, you get too much color overlap. So like this skein does not look, for instance, like a spin cycle skein. This is a 3-ply skein. I mean, parts of it sort of do, but like there's just too much like single color or like 2 colors overwhelming a 3rd color. Like it's cool and the colors themselves look great and they would look cool together, but it just doesn't work as a fractal spin to do something like this. So I've learned my lesson with that. And I realized that you really have to do dyed braids. When it's 2-plies, I think I can fudge it because I can rip the colors into small enough pieces so they don't overlap very often. But yeah, threes are crowd. That's hard. So yeah, I don't mind doing 2, but I think that 3-plies, you have to use a dyed braid, which is okay. You live and learn. But anyway, but I needed to recover from my like setback of like, this doesn't work yesterday. And I was on the phone with my mom yesterday in the afternoon or kind of early evening, and I wanted to spin. So I decided to spin something completely different. I was like, because I'd been spinning these skeins, which are small, I was like, I know I can do like a whole skein of something if I just have like an hour and a half and I just don't try and spin 100 grams of fiber. So I grabbed, well, I spun this skein, which you can actually see. I was just gonna make you be surprised and wait, but because it was sitting there, I was like, whatever. I spun this 2-ply fractal skein. I guess it's not really fractal because it's 2 braids of completely different colors. So it's just a 2-ply skein, but it's really fun. Look how fun that is. There's so many colors in it. And it's so happy. I don't know what, I think I'm gonna make a little baby hat or something. Or probably 5 baby hats because there's probably like 100 yards in here. So it's a small skein, but it's definitely like there's some yards on there. I could even make like fingerless mittens with that. Anyway, I used this braid that I just showed you that I just picked up, this one, which is Cormo. It is called, I think it's called First Frost. Yes, it is from Hip Strings Modern Fiber Arts. And it was $22 at Maryland Sheep and Wool. Hand wash cold. Yeah, so it's fun. It was just really unexpected, so I wanted to get this one. And then I plied it with this, which is a bag of BFL from Feederbrook Farms, which is just up the road in Towson. They make, Feederbrook makes a like 2-ply kind of barber pole yarn, like the Zycle or, you know, Junction or Yarn Hero. Yarn Hero is also nearby. So I have a lot of dyed braids like this, and I'm like, I just kind of hoard them and like assume that I'll spin them as, you know, one thing. But I have like lately, you know, I don't have as much time to spin, and I'm like, okay, like I have a lot of single skeins, whatever. And I want to spin bigger kind of spinning projects so that I can use it for like a whole sweater or like as the contrasting color and like mosaic, like my pressed flowers project, which is a very long ongoing project because I don't have my e-spinner cord and I'm still working on the first bobbin of 3, but like that'll be like 300-gram bumps of fiber. So that's a lot of fiber. And I'm going to do 3 completely different things for each ply. So I'm like, okay, well, honestly, like 100 grams or 4 ounces of fiber is a lot of fiber. Like, I should just start mixing and matching. Like, what the heck is wrong with that? Like, I have so much random stuff. It'll be more fun if I just fly by the seat of my pants a little bit with stuff and like let it take me where it wants to go, you know? So, yeah, I think that's real fun and I've been enjoying that. So we'll see what happens with my creative brain. I think that leaving spinning sometimes to the like creative urges that I have is probably a great idea. Just like, hey, when you get an urge to do something, like don't feel like that fiber is special for any reason. Like, I mean, all fiber is special, but it's not hard to get. Like, nothing is so special you can't get more. And or make something similar or get something similar, like, and if it is, then save that one. But like, fiber's fiber, there's tons of it. I have undyed fiber, like tons of it that I can just dye up and do as I please with. So like, yeah, I'm just liking the kind of like, let's see what this is gonna become today vibes of the spinning right now. So I'm gonna you know, wash the skein and keep it around, maybe knit something small with it, but I gotta get back to this Target now. I'm just like loving it so much. I would like to, you know, be casting this on by winter probably. So the next couple months, making sure I have like several chunky skeins of this. You know, you need a lot of yards for that. So making sure that, yeah, I just kind of work on that. If I work on that for like if I sit down and spin for 20 minutes, you get a lot done by the end of a week, by the end of a month. It builds pretty fast. So yeah, just having a kind of like, I need to do this creative moment on weekends sometimes, and just giving into those things, it really makes me kind of feel more in touch with my knitting and feel like more in control of this kind of like it's not so goal directed. You know, I don't have to plan it out 6 months in advance like I often do with things. My therapist keeps telling me I need to have fewer goal directed hobbies. She's like, just read when you want to read. Like, why do you need to set a goal? Like, it's not a marathon. Like with a marathon, you really do have to, and that's where I thrive, is like planning this stuff in advance and like making a training plan. And this is why I'm a coach. And I love doing that, but like you burn out if you do that too much. You need to let yourself breathe, let your brain have fun sometimes. So yeah, I'm letting my brain have fun. Yeah, and part of me is like, oh, maybe I should spin something else. What I really need to do is fix my matchless, because if I can get the matchless to stop, the wheel to stop moving forward and backwards, then I can have 2 wheels available and more bobbins, and then also my e-spinner. I need to, it's in my control to get that cord back from Sarah. I just need to go do it. I'm like, yeah, but maybe I'm like, this is honestly like a great excuse to fix Thelma. So maybe I'll do that. Nitin's not here right now though. He's not coming back till Wednesday. So I'm like, maybe I should wait till he gets back. He's not a mechanical engineer, but he's good enough that I think it would be better if you were there to do it / help me do it. Even if I just like completely mess it up, I think he could probably help me fix it, but it would be better if he saw the whole undoing and like putting back together probably. But anyway, I did see a video, somebody like, you know, 6 months ago when this issue came up, somebody did link me a video that was helpful. I just didn't do anything about it. I also have a wonky pedal, but that's not really a structural issue with the wheel. I can still spin with it. So anyway, like I said, not super long video. I haven't done a whole lot of reading and watching. I finished The Forgotten Girls, which somebody recommended a couple weeks ago. That was really good. Yeah, so again, I contain multitudes in what I want to read apparently, so please recommend things in the comments. Always looking for suggestions. I'm back on Little Women, which I really enjoy listening to before bed. I am kind of close to the end of Little Women, which means it's the sad part. And there is lots of stuff in Audible to listen to, so I'm sure I'll get into something there that my mom has. With watching, yeah, I finished the Mormon Wives show. Oh my gosh, that was dramatic. So super fun. I've really been enjoying the media, like the tweets and Instagram posts about it. It's just so crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. So yeah, a lot of, yeah, when I have downtime, I tend to watch something dumb like Brooklyn Nine-Nine though. I'm enjoying my rewatch of that. I'm in season 4 right now, but that's the last season that's on Netflix, so I'm gonna have to find another place to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the rest of the, because I know there's more than 4 seasons, because I've watched it before. But it's like such a show that like I didn't pay attention to apparently when it was on, that like it feels still very fresh, even though like the larger plot points I kind of remember, but like the smaller things I'm like, this is hilarious. I have no memory of this. So yeah. Yeah, I also like true crime podcasts. So if you have any recommendations, you know, I enjoy that too. Yeah, I'm like looking around at some yarn that's just like hanging out on the floor of my studio, and I'm like, oh, I want to do color work with that. Oh. So apparently I want to do some color work. But I can't cast anything on right now. I gotta work on my Fair Isle and make some dinner. I think it's crispy tofu night. I love crispy tofu. My mom and I were talking about that, and she was like, do you marinate it first? And I was like, no, I just make a sauce. And she's like, you gotta marinate it in the sauce ingredients, like sesame oil, soy sauce, you know, a little rice wine, vinegar, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, that's good to know. Maybe I'll do that. Marinate my tofu in some fun stuff. I made turkey bolognese last night that was super good. It wasn't real bolognese. It was just like, it's a recipe that my dad always used to make when I was little, sometimes with ground beef, but sometimes with ground turkey, because there came a point where I stopped eating red meat for a long time actually. And I actually just I almost always get ground turkey because it's healthier, and it's like, I can't really, ground beef, you can tell the difference if there's ground beef and something, it tastes way better. But like, I don't think, you know, if you cook with enough salt, and I cook with a lot of salt because I'm a runner and I need sodium. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. So I made this, it's like a meat sauce with like ground turkey, and the recipe says to use tomato sauce, like canned tomato sauce. I never do that. It tastes really bad if I do that. Like some tomato paste and onion, canned tomatoes, and then like a lot of dried parsley, but also I put like oregano, basil, red pepper flakes in it, and salt. And some people add pepper. I don't like black pepper. I think it tastes bad. I don't mind that it's spicy. I just think it tastes bad. So I don't like it. I've never liked black pepper. But anyway, it was good, and I made that sauce yesterday. So I think it's going to be tofu tonight. All right, well, 40 minutes. I did pretty well, almost 41. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great week. Hope to be back next week. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. but hopefully I'll be back next week. And thanks so much for watching again. This has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye.